Good evening and welcome to Weekend News on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. I am Phoebian Sweel. Coming up in tonight's bulletin, President Ernest Bai Koroma entreats the Republic of Sierra Armed Forces to always remain loyal to the service of their motherland, Sierra Leone. Residents in Jendema, Sogwema Chiefdom assures presidential candidate of the Sierra Leone People's Party, retired Brigadier Julius Madabio, of 90% vote in March. And the National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT, opens its transport terminal and plazas in Bo. All these and more, including entertainment and sports, lined up in Weekend News. President Ernest Bai Koroma has decorated 3 newly promoted senior military officers at State House. We bring you highlights.
Another decoration ceremony for newly promoted officers in the army staff. It is mandatory after any preferment for His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces to decorate these senior officers.
You have been decorated as part of the ongoing reformation that is taking place in the Sierra Leone military. A transformation that we are all very proud of. Sierra Leoneans everywhere are very proud of what the RSLAF is doing, the accomplishment of the RSLAF, the intervention of RSLAF during our moment of need. And this is as a result of the great transformation that has taken place. A transformation that we will continue to effect until such time when we become the best military, not only within the sub-region, but in Africa. This event is on the eve of a very busy weekend that all of us will see through. As part of observance of the heroic performance, the heroic sacrifice members of the military have made in the past, not only in the good old days, but also even in the recent wars and incidents. And I believe that we are all looking forward to that with great expectations. But additionally, beyond that, we are all going to witness very soon the next presidential and parliamentary elections. And as usual, we do expect the military to play an independent and professional role. But whilst we are expected to play an independent and professional role, we should also send a very clear signal that it is our responsibility as a military to protect the Constitution. That is the oath we are sworn to. We have to ensure that anything that undermines that will not be treated lightly. And we do hope that all of us will go into the elections as professionals, as we have done in the past, but coming out as a nation that will be considered as one of the most democratic nations within the Sub region. I know that the task ahead, the challenges ahead are great, but I'm sure that with continuous training you have been undertaken, you will live up to the task. So once more, let me congratulate your fine officers that have been decorated and wish you the very best in your new assignment, and hope that with your new promotions you will add value to the already great accolades that the ARSLAF is enjoying. Once more, congratulations, and I wish you all the best.
The Office of the First Lady has confirmed that Israel has provided an additional support of 4 dialysis machines to the unit at the Connaught Hospital. The First Lady was in Israel to thank the government and people of Israel for their support to Sierra Leone. Here are the highlights.
I'm here to say a big thank you to you people again, because we forged a partnership that cannot be described in words. We'll never forget you people. It's been a lasting relationship, and more so lives have been saved. Many years ago, people on dialysis abroad could not even come to Sierra Leone, simply because we did not have the facilities. Now we have friends coming from all over, seeing their loved ones in Sierra Leone and taking treatment on the unit. This unit has saved so many people. We even have a short clips to show you how passionate and how grateful we are as a nation. Everybody now knows the importance of the unit, but we do have our challenges. Being a third world country, being a small unit, we are short of personnel, skilled personnel. You all have been there, you know our problems. So I'm here to say thank you again. I bring greetings from the President, the Minister of Health, the doctors at Connaught, Eugene, Dr. Soko Kabia, and now Dr. Russell, who has just joined the team to form a postgraduate training center where they merge cardiology and renal ICU patients together. It's all written in a letter to Dr. Barat, but I'm here purposely to appeal for your continuous support.
Credit. That unit, 90% belongs to the First Lady. 90% more. Because the idea came from the First Lady, and then she has backed it all through in Sierra Leone and towards us as well. Somebody had to push us. And, so 90%. Then it's not just that, because let's remind everybody that Sierra Leone went through 2 major crises during the last 2 decades. The internal crisis, I mean the war, which was a terrible event, and then the Ebola. They've just emerged from the first one, and then the Ebola came. And I just want to remind even yourself, because you're involved in so many events and so, but during the Ebola we have been there. We have deployed a unit with the military. And who was there? The First Lady was there, with all the generals and the colonels. So it's not just the unit. It's not just the unit, because she was around quite everything, just with humanitarian activity, with medical activity, with supporting the people. She has left the strategic issues to the President, but that should be context. Thank you so much for that.
President Ernest Bai Koroma has entreated the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces to always remain loyal, committed and dedicated to the service of their motherland and people of Sierra Leone, while addressing them during the occasion of the Armed Forces Day celebration at the Wilberforce Hockey Pitch in Freetown. we bring you highlights.
The Armed Forces Week, a celebration, as you're all aware, originated from the Mayong Day, which celebrated the value exhibited by our uniformed compatriots during the Second World War. But in recent times, this commemoration has been adapted to include the remembrance of all other wars and calamities we have confronted as a nation, particularly the gruesome 11 years civil strife, the Ebola scourge, and the recent mudslide and flash floods. Therefore, as we mark the 9th Republic of Sierra Leone's Armed Forces Day, I want to seize this moment to reflect on the great sacrifices our compatriots, especially those of you in uniform, have made and continue to make for our great nation and indeed for all of us. And I salute the great strides they have taken in maintaining our hard-earned peace and in advancing the cause of our freedom. In today's ARSLAF, promotions are not unilateral. There is no double or this time around, ARSLAF will employ on wet list with contingent own equipment. This time around, ARSLAF will deploy on wet list with contingent own equipment. Once the necessary planning and deployment with the UN is finalized, we have also acquired quite recently a reasonable quantity of essential equipment such as defense stores, beddings, cooking utensils, etc., as part of the ARSLAF G1098 stores. Yesterday's show was exemplary, and I believe it has sent a clear signal to all and sundry that ARSLAF is equipped and uniformed and motivated enough to continue to serve the country in the constitutional responsibility that is expected of them. And let me at this stage inform you all that extensive work has been done on the terms and conditions of service, and that even as I leave, I am relieved that the issue relating to your terms and conditions of service is being given the requisite consideration it deserves. I would want to assure all of you that in the next few months, the ARSLAF will have a new terms and conditions of service. As we move forward, always remember where you have come from. Remember the difficulties all of you have endured. Remember the bravery and the gallantry that have been your hallmark. Remember that we do not have another Sierra Leone. And that the people of Sierra Leone have their hope, confidence, and trust in you. Work for them and remain steadfast in maintaining peace and security in this country. You have a constitutional responsibility to protect the state and to fight for the Constitution.
Is adopted simply because we have in all our establishment units, the hospitals, in defense of your nation, you have to adopt a formation. And that is the Arrowhead formation for the Maritime Wing. Number 3 guard is commanded by Captain C.A. Muno, and the formation is the T formation, depending on the terrain as well. You adopt it in battle to get closer to the enemy or to defeat your enemy as quickly as possible.
President Ernest Bai Koroma has officially launched the Sierra Leone Social Health Insurance SHIM at the Bintumani International Conference Center, Aberdeen. The president, whilst launching the SHIM, recalled the launch of the Free Healthcare Initiative, which was to ensure access to health services to pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children under the age of 5. Ghazia Bashkamara filed in this report.
Formally launch the Sierra Leone Social Health Insurance Scheme, we then call SLISH.
President Ernest Bai Koroma said that the free health care scheme was not universal, but it remains the most daring health initiative ever in the country's history. He informed that it was a difficult move, but as a government, they saw it necessary for the people of Sierra Leone and never regretted implementing that social service. President Koroma said when his government took over governance in 2007, the health sector, other sectors, was in shambles. The president added that the quality of health service delivery had deteriorated mainly due to chronic underfinancing of the sector. Conditions of service were at their lowest. Facilities were broken or non-existent. Health practitioners were much fewer, as were the specialists. He noted that half of the population did not access health care at least once a year, due mainly to the high cost. President Koroma said that his government was therefore saw it as its obligation to protect the public health, safety, and general welfare. He told his audience that his government therefore saw the need to improve on the country's budgetary to health care. It has been increasing throughout the 10 years.
So the chief themselves will not get a rule. And I want to say we all now get a responsibility for make this project succeed. If it succeeds, we know we don't achieve everything at the health sector, but it will take we to another level where we will make we achieve with SDG on health quick one past the projected time we give. It will reduce the out-of-pocket expenditure substantially, because this out-of-pocket expenditure, now they make people in no go hospital, and they make some money they go like what they get for making web go operation, for making picking go do this, for making self go. If the one day you reduce them, you will take them for do other things, and they reduce poverty in our country. It will make the health of the nation be very good, where everybody become healthier, with productivity will increase. As they go to farm, I will work for more days in a farm. And when I go to farm, I will work with the energy for make me agricultural productivity increase. I will go to school, I will pay attention because I'm very healthy. It's even when they make a sick or not go to hospital, we know they again. So overall, we get that benefits there for the nation, for the economy, for we homes, for we self. So it will be a win-win situation for we all. So many people will not begin to criticize if we not start. Now this fear of the unknown, that can make people a lot venture. And if you get a lot venture, you. So man, not afraid that go now and correct the mistake. The coordinator don't make them very clear that we don't go answer all the problems. We will address them as we go. But let us grow systems. Let us grow them to the point where we will say, now out of we own experience, we don't grow this system. Out of we own experience, out of we own local circumstances, we don't try to make this whole system to we own local circumstances such that it will different, but anybody can understand why it will work now.
The president said that in 2017, government introduced an infrastructure fund to support the health sector, with government's total health expenditures have nearly doubled since 2010 and stand now at about 18% of gross domestic products. President Koroma admitted that they may not have solved all the problems, but access to health facilities increased by over 500%. The president said government still needed more resources to cater for the health of Sierra Leoneans, and since access to affordable health care has been a key priority in its agenda for prosperity. Thus, he explained his government through the National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT, and other key stakeholders have developed the Sierra Leone Social Health Insurance (SLESHI) scheme. According to the president, the scheme will be focusing on health and social security for each and every citizen to eliminate the tremendous pain and suffering. Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation 1, Madam Madina Rahman, said the scheme is coming in at a time when sustainable ways of revenue generation and efficiency in expenditure in the country's health sector are pressing issues. She added that the SLESHI scheme is a journey towards universal health coverage. The Deputy Minister encouraged all to also focus on ensuring that the quality of the country's health system is good enough to be able to cater effectively and sufficiently population. The Minister of Labour and Security, Dr. Matthew Timbo, described the launch as an milestone in the history of Sierra Leone while expressing gratitude to all that have worked so hard on the actualization of the scheme. The minister said that they are all aware that access to quality and affordable health service has been a critical challenge for Sierra Leoneans. Presenting the Sierra Leone Social Health Insurance Scheme earlier, the coordinator of Sierra Leone Social Health Insurance Scheme, Joseph Kamara, said that the expenditures on healthcare continue to be an upward trajectory to the extent of placing many people into poverty. Continued that financing healthcare continues to be a critical challenge globally and more so in developing countries, of which Sierra Leone is a part. The Director General, National Social Security Insurance Trust, NASIT, Joseph Mans, said his trust has been the only national pension fund in Sierra Leone set up to mainly cater for the people in the formal sector. He maintained that by 2007, the coverage of NASIT has become saturated and there was need to find ways and means to extend coverage to those unprotected informal sector workers. The informal sector representative, Ibrahim Baba Kamara, said the scholarship program is highly appreciated by the informal sector because when the scheme was initiated, it was not for those in the informal sector. Other speakers made meaningful contributions to the scheme, including the chairman, Minister of Information and Communications, Alhaji Alpha Kanu.
Sana Development for Education and Progress, Freetown Branch, has organized a flagship and career guidance session for its members in Freetown. The aim of the session was to urge descendants to take their education with all seriousness it deserves. Francis Danema has more. We apologize for that. We'll try to bring you that report by the end of the bulletin. The National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT, has officially opened its transport terminal and plazas in Bo. The terminal, with ultra-modern facilities, is designed to promote trade in the region. This brings the trust total investment facilities to $7 million. Princess Gibson was at the opening ceremony, and she now reports.
Fitscan Sports Terminal comprises 51 single shops, restaurants, mini-mart, pharmacy, electronics center, banking area, and car park. These are according to the Director General of NASIT, Joseph Seydou Mans, who will promote trade within the region. Even with the challenges faced by NASIT, its infrastructural investments, he said, are visible countrywide.
Even though there are challenges within the administration of the scheme, it is important to note that this is a normal process for all pension schemes as they grow to maturity over the long term. Nevertheless, we have taken adequate steps in readiness to face these challenges.
The Minister of Labour and Social Security, Matthew Timbo, said Bo Town has transformed into a modern city and therefore deserves an ultra-modern facilities, and call on Bo residents to take ownership of the facilities. The Residence Minister South Mukhtaru Konte assured all that the facilities will be adequately maintained. Vice President Victor Bokari Fo said the transport terminal will create jobs and the payment of taxes. This, he said, is in fulfillment of government's promise in line with the agenda for prosperity. The vice president said that although NASIT is faced with challenges, the trust has moved forward.
Although challenges do face the institution of NASIT, yet still, this plaza is a job well done. And on behalf of the President, Dr. Ernest Bai Koroma, his government, and all of us that are part of that government, we do say, and strongly so, with emphasis, that we have confidence in the great strides NASIT has made and the potential that lie ahead of NASIT.
But what are the views of Bo residents on the construction of the facilities?
But they tell the people that they put down the prices, because now they will make the customer that will come about. If you make a high, then you will just see as a statue. We're not going to do that today.
I appreciate it for make the shop there reasonable for people. At the plaza in Okuan of Ladi, we don't officially open today by the Vice President, we carry the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Only that the only thing about the plaza business, the price of the shops are inside, now look very too high that customer they not going to take over because it is about 27 to 30 million per year, and that government will have to look at that. This is because the order starts.
The plaza of Gladi, we don't Gladi for that because any side one day we find place for Gladi. Hardly is only more we go by Gladi. So anything we go on, we come for Kanbande, we go rent
Mukhtar Konobundo Kamara is the general manager at Semco, a company that is managing the facilities.
We have shops that cost 6 million, 4 million. I think the highest is 18 million, and that is the restaurant. And what we do is we rent the shops on square foot basis. The size of the shop determines what we ask for. If you want a bigger shop, like the ones people taking for supermarkets, stationery shop, etc., you definitely have to pay more.
This brings NASIT's fiscal fixed assets to $166 million. Princess Gibson, SLBC News.
The presidential candidate for the Alliance Democratic Party, ADP, Mohamed Kamarimba Mansari, has presented his plans on education, health, business investment and development, employment, among many others, to the people of Tombo Moawaf at Mill Street. He emphasized that the people should vote wisely, choosing his party, which stands for change and development. Yvette Jasko has more.
The party what we come with now ADP. ADP. Yes. ADP. Yeah, the party. Would I know the name not so? Yes, sir. Alright, after March 7, my name they can change. My new name now His Excellency President Mohamed Kamarimba. Congratulations, sir.
Supporters from Moawaf, Tombo and Mill Street communities and its environs were gathered to listen to the presidential candidate for the Alliance Democratic Party, ADP, Mohamed Kamarimba Mansari, who they described as Salon Mandela. A man who had defected from the SLPP said that because their son and brother, Saidu Kaloko, is contesting for Member of Parliament in constituency 122 under the ADP party, he has joined the ADP. Community meeting like this, according to the presidential candidate of the Alliance Democratic Party ADP, Mohamed Kamaremba Mansari, is a proper way of communicating face-to-face with voters to vote wisely. He added that his party believes in change and accountability, and that electing him as president, Sierra Leone will have a new face in every sector.
We don't know how they want to make this country here now. They don't make a lekosusu. Now they don't eat for APC for me and the thief and eat. SLPP they wait to the fish and they don't tell this. They two parties and one mommy one that they born them. So man, they don't eat there, they don't call it not so. West not so. They party are not good for the country. They two parties are the Ebola of Salon. May they come all kick them out. The umbrella party na no more can for do better in this country here. Not so? When I look me I not get blood in my hand. I know one day thief. I know one day they're all when they run for presidency. They're all na yampi then. When I not see na yampi, not so. They're all na thief man them. Not so? So me I tell you to say, I don't glad you now. And by God in power, this country I will make another so. When I know, hello. Now for we get number one on the list. What we get for go vote? This number here, APC say Papa, therefore they number one. I left them. Not so. I don't think God do them. No. APC say Papa, and then for the number one, and then for the up. We look at now left them. Western up, Sunday number one. Western one, what did they put under the sun? So who are they number two? Who are they number two? He said, may I go wonderful? Western one, Kamaremba carry the umbrella number two. So when you can number now, where you see the umbrella, you see Kamaremba number two, now for put on the top. Where you see the umbrella? Where you see Kamaremba? Where you see ADP? Where you see the umbrella? Where you see Kamaremba?
He took the opportunity to present his candidate for Member of Parliament in Constituency 122, Saidu Kaloko. I am a son of this community. Due to the suffering of my people, I decided to contest as a candidate for Member of Parliament for Constituency 122, says Saidu Kaloko. Ive Jasko, Freetown.
You're watching a bulletin of weekend news on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. I'll hand you over to Mohamed King Milan Bangura for entertainment news.
Upon you.
Pastor Alex Matthew Bangura is the assistant pastor of Zion Place Tabernacle and a praise and worship minister. Pastor Bangura has been in the singing ministry for quite a long time now and has produced songs that have blessed thousands of souls in and out of Sierra Leone. In 2016, Pastor Bangura released his first album titled Heroes, which was a big success in the gospel arena.
Powerful. In fact, the impact, not only national impact, but also international impact. Just about 2 weeks ago, somebody called me all the way from the US, giving me testimony of the impact the album has created in life.
Pastor Matthew Bangura has been singing alongside his wife, whom he met in a praise and worship ministry, and they later became happily married.
knew her from a distance at that time. When God gave me the vision to gather the young people, Youth Prayer Storm, she came on board. You see a virtuous woman. Solomon said, who can find a virtuous woman? You know, she has stuff. She has stuff she's made up of. So by the grace of God, praying for a wife, God just directed me, and by the grace of God, we are 6 years now.
Pastor Bangura is the founder and president of the Sierra Leone Youth Prayer Storm movement. He is planning to release a second album titled Jesus Saves on Saturday, the 17th of February for the VIP, and on Sunday, 18th February for the general public at the local Baptist Church, Circular Road.
The album titled Jesus Saves, because we are living in a dying world in Milan. We are living in a world where nothing is safe. The only place you can find safety is in Christ.
This launching will be graced by talented Sierra Leonean gospel musicians that are ready to showcase their talents.
Emmanuel Medbasi is a gospel musician who has been in the music industry for quite a long time. Though being in the industry, much has not been heard from him in a while.
The reason being two things. One, since music not be get anything for do to me, for upgrade me, think about financially, morally, until you think about the price and the just.
Medbasi said he got his inspiration in music over 30 years ago when his mom took him to church and he saw the church choir in performance. He started playing the keyboard and guitar. He later released 2 albums, I'm Special and I Will Make It, which had a hit song, Heavenly Language, popularly known as Hallelujah. Though it's been years since he last released a song or an album, his passion for art is still strong. That is why he is planning a comeback with his new album titled I'm Bouncing Back.
We are titled I'm Bouncing Back. I believe saying the stepping stone for taking me higher level.
He said this album has inspirational songs that will definitely change the minds of people. This album will be launched on the 25th of February at the British Council Tower Hill, Freetown, and various Sierra Leonean gospel artists will be in attendance.
Thanks to Mohammed King Milan Bangura for that entertainment news. This is Weekend News on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. More news. The people of Gendema Sogbema Chiefdom in the Pujeon district have assured the presidential candidate of the Sierra Leone People's Party, retired Brigadier Julius Marabio, of 90% vote in March 7 elections. This disclosure was made during the party's campaign trial in the south, east and western regions of the country. The national campaign chairman of the party, Dr. Ali Kaba, appeals to the supporters in the various regions who have not collected their voter identity cards to do so before the elections to vote SLPP. Supporters in Western region turned out in large numbers to listen to the presidential candidate of the Sierra Leone People's Party, retired Brigadier Julius Marabio, campaign's messages, which focuses on education, health, good governance and agriculture. We bring you highlights.
We come as a young soldier and fight in defense of this nation, where the war not done at the war front, and make sure say embark on diplomatic mission will lead to the
peaceful settlement of this war na the table. One country. Now APC been played down and also the time APC been there. Okay, make I tell you first. The time APC can in this country. Also been get quota. Been get away in this country. Quota been there all big condemn. Water supply be there. Courtesy of APC, everything disappear. Even the railway, they take the iron and sell them. Today, I just want to tell you and say, APC, they're not good for themselves, they're not good for this country. One country. Remember say, when they come down party in there, rest have been just 60,000, not the so. What courtesy of APC today, rest now 200 and more thousand. For change $1, you be only need 2,900. Because of APC today, you need 7,600. The value of the money, because of the reckless management of the economy, the value of the money don't fall by 165%. APC work. So, APC not good for themselves, they're not good for this country. Once upon a time, Salem been known around the world for the quality of education we will give in this country. Because of APC, today, Sierra Leone get one of the worst standards of education in the world. Salem, now one of the humblest places on earth. Hungry down Bokunaya. And then the other APC brand can also. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you say when they talk about the bad things the way APC don't bring down in this country, we know the common here today. So at the table now, make a tap before I don't tap, and make a tell now what in the SFPP intends to do for make sure say we live as a happy society. One country, one people. Under the leadership, the new SFPP government where they can begin to take care of the problem they need. I want to make you know say the SFPP na the Kumra party. The Kumra party will become there with all the problems they know, so where the APC will create. One important things for we, one important thing when we want to embark on, now for make sure say we begin the way of the future, then get quality education in this country. How will they do that? Because the APC don't create hardship. Out of Lomboku, plenty of the beginning are not able to go to school because the parents are not able to pay for them. Then they drop out of school. So what will they do? The Kumra party, we got this country at heart. We got the plan to make sure that every beginning where they go to school, from class 1 till you don't secondary school, you don't pay no school fees for the education will go fine also. In fact, I just want to tell you and say the minister then for education is there inside this crowd there. Well, because of the Master Sabi and the Kumra get, we be make sure say education fine. Where APC come, when they want to pour the country properly, they say we want to pour any country that will destroy the educational system. So, the other one here, when they don't support the thing, when they call SS4. SS4 is a body for picking them. SS4 is a body for the parents. By that time, most of the girls can get pregnant. Then they drop out of school. One assurance and one agreement, we want to make it Now to make sure say match 7 with the cut SS4, we add them to what is we all go together.
And now for the latest sports updates, I hand you over to Esther Marie Samura.
Good evening and welcome to Sport Update on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. I am Esther Marie Samura. The Sierra Leone male beach volleyball team is one of the sporting disciplines that will be competing at the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Australia due April 4th to 15th, 2018. In that regard, the national team is on intensive training ahead of the beach volleyball court situated at Bishop House in Freetown. I witnessed one of their training sessions, and here is the report.
The 2018 Commonwealth Games, commonly known as Gold Coast 2018, is an international multi-sport event for members of the Commonwealth that will be held on the Gold Coast, Australia, between 4th and 15th April 2018. It will be the 5th time Australia will be hosting the Commonwealth Games. In that regard, the national male beach volleyball team will be representing Sierra Leone and by extension Africa. The players are currently bracing up for the Commonwealth Games. According to them, they will put up a brave fight to defend Africa amidst huge challenges.
As you can see, we don't begin training from last month and up to date today on the training, and the training is going well. So we prepare the mind and we're ready for this tournament. As you see, because when we come out Austria, the World Championship, because the team we get for meet up soon on Australia, we are the Australian team. We meet with them at the same pool in Austria, and then we beat 2 straight, and we see the strength, inside the strength, they win at the hard drive and the whole shot, and see so we come out Austria and come, and we don't work on the hard drive reception and the whole shot, and the coach they don't do well for making it for match fit for the competition. Of course, yes, you know, the situation I did so easy for accept them because within us alone, you know, the facility, they're not there like the European or the South America team, and within here we train very, very hard, you know, because we need to aim an objective to go win this competition because we get all it takes for win this competition.
The preparation to go well as we don't start with training now, to keep the house in order. You know, we level best because we don't try for qualifying. Not only the nation but Africa as a whole. And a big task for we. So if we not put the house in order early, then we will let Africa down or let us say yeah, well, that's a big deal anyway. Not the first time this kind of competition, you know, the major competition in the place. I think say as we always this will put the house in order for face the other competition, then that's not the thing we do right now for us. We don't put everything in place now. It's just that we need more players that can come on board for take beach volleyball as a personal career and forget about indoor for now because beach volleyball go faster in Africa than indoor volleyball.
Other sporting disciplines are as well on intensive training ahead of the competition. Esther Marie Samura, SLBC TV.
That's the latest update in sports. I am Esther Marie Samura. Thanks for watching.
Thanks to Esther for the sports update. You've been watching Weekend News on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, and before I end the bulletin, a recap of the main points. President Ernest Bai Koroma has entreated the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces to always remain loyal to the service of their motherland, Sierra Leone. Residents in Jendema Sogwema Chiefdom has assured presidential candidate of the Sierra Leone People's Party, retired Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, of 90% vote in the coming elections. And the National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT, opened its transport terminal and plazas in Bo. That's all in the news bulletin on SLBC for the hour. I am Vivian Swill. Have a good night.